making my way across the Solent, and I'm heading to London for a walk with a friend from Doha, and also to visit the moon exhibition, or something like that anyway, in Southwark Cathedral, so that should be fun. Hi, and we're now in the Museum of the Moon. Measuring 7 meters in diameter, the moon features detailed NASA imagery of the lunar surface at an approximate scale of 1 to 500,000. Each centimeter of the internally lit spherical sphere represents 5 kilometers of the Earth's surface. So, and it's been exhibited all over the world in various places. So good to have it in London today, and it's interesting to come and see it. Beautiful cathedral. And just to spin you around. So this is the side of the moon that we never see. Similar to the other side, it must be said. Amazing how many craters there are. So it's a shame really that the Right Reverend Allgood, apparently he was a great one, from 1106 to 1130. 24 years of very good stewardships, I'm going to say. Not that I really know. Anyway, this goes up to the Priory of St Mary Overy was surrendered to King Henry VIII in 1539. The church became the parish church of St Saviour and was served by 2 joint chaplains, elected by the vestry. In 1897, the church became the Collegiate Church of St Saviour, and in 1905, the Cathedral Church of the new Diocese of Southwark. So we're just by the Harvard Chapel here. Apparently John Harvard, who later endowed the prestigious Harvard University in Massachusetts, was born in Southwark in 1607. He was baptized at St Saviour's Church, now this one, on 29th of November 1607. And his father's signature is in the cathedral register. It's got a feel, the moon has got a feel of a bit like the ball in the Indiana Jones film. It just looks like it's going to start rolling towards you. Fantastic setting for it then. So here we have a wooden effigy of a knight, which is apparently one of the earliest such examples in England. This is from around 1280. So it looks like bronze, but it's wood. So here we have someone I've never heard of before, but quite an important guy, Bishop Lancelot Andrews, from 1555 to 1626. And he was the person, the scholar, who held high positions in the church in the reigns of Elizabeth I and James I. And it was him who oversaw the translation of the Bible into English, the King James Version of the Bible. Probably Shakespeare is probably the most famous parishioner of this church. And there's 39 plays while he was connected to the Globe Theatre. And this is, of course, the Globe Theatre is just around the corner. So here's a memorial to the great man himself. So, platform 4, London Bridge Station. Right, looking forward to seeing a bit of Greenwich. I used to take a school group there every year to Greenwich to stand on the Meridian line and look around the Museum of Time. Just a little bit out of breath, just walking up this steep hill up towards the Greenwich Observatory. See the O2 Arena, used to be called the Millennium Dome. There you are, the Canary Wharf behind, a lot of kind of buildings, particularly financial. We've got people here standing on the Greenwich Meridian. Divides the Western Hemisphere from the Eastern Hemisphere. On maps anyway. It's obviously a purely arbitrary line, unlike the equator. We have the cheapskate version of the Meridian line, where you don't have to pay to go in.
Like someone put their...
And so 1 foot in the Eastern Hemisphere, 1 foot in the West. So we've come down from the hill, from the Greenwich Observatory up there, and we'll just have a quick look around the Queen's house. Gotta love a bit of symmetry. Beautiful entrance, kind of walkway here towards the entrance of the Queen's house. Christopher Wren building in front of us redesigned so she could keep her views down to the River Thames. Very wise move, I think, on her part. Never been here before, so quite looking forward to it. Look at that. Beautiful picture, look. So here we have the Sea Maidens. So presumably this is the kind of main room, I guess, because magnificent views down towards the River Thames, out the windows. That's an Emirates flight. Oh, that looks, no, I think that's a 777. So here we have Indigo Jones designed this hall as a perfect cube. It is in the heart of the house, embodying his design approach of artistic and geometric perfection. Here we have the Armada portrait of Queen Elizabeth I. By an unknown English artist, the iconic portrait of Elizabeth I was painted after England defeated the Spanish Armada in 1688. There you are, the ceiling painting. No expense spared. Come across one of Queen Anne herself. Picture of Captain Cook. So Antoine, you can be filled with pride. This is De Ruyter, the famous Dutch captain. So 2 globes here. One must be said a bit more traditional, like that, as opposed to this one. So I'm not quite sure what this one is. Maybe it is, I think. Model of the St. Michael. Models were made by specialist craftsmen. So we made it to the Royal Naval College, which is now part of the University of London, I guess. University of Greenwich. Greenwich University, right, okay, so here we are. And there seems to be a graduation going on, so we can't get into the famous hall with the magnificent painting on the ceiling, but you can't have everything. It's quite interesting here, and there you are, the Thames just in front of us. And on the other side of the Thames, fancy walking under the tunnel, Stephen? Yeah, we can see the exit, to the tunnel under the Thames, which is very deep, so we're going to go and give that a go. So In the days when wind-powered ships were transporting goods all over the world, the Cutty Sark, one of the fastest ones, wasn't it, I think? Yeah, sleek. And here we have it. It's been refurbished after burning down a few years ago. And you've got an exhibition centre with it now. But again, a very fine example of a three-masted. So all the fun of the fair here by the Cutty Sark. And we're about to go into the Greenwich Tunnel. Magnificent way to cross the Thames underneath the water. You have to go down a lot of steps. So just before we leave Greenwich, just one final look down the Thames towards central London and across there towards Canary Wharf. There you go. So, made it to the other side. We've got the Docklands Light Railway to Canary Wharf, and we're just heading towards Cabot Square. Here we are. I see a little bit of light outside. We're in a shopping mall. Oh, so still quite sunny here. There's light catching the buildings as the day wears on. And Cabot Square we're at now. Got some sort of water feature here. And an interesting statue. I'm not quite sure what that's of. But there's tall buildings all around us, and there's a jet flies overhead, and we've got HSBC Citigroup and maybe Canary Wharf Tower there. Very nice. Morgan Stanley building. You've got this really, the lights catching that is nice. Slight Doha feel to it with the tall glassy sort of buildings. Or JP Morgan next to Morgan Stanley. So a lot of financial institutions here. Every station should have a Greggs, that's for sure. So after a great day in London, I'm just making my way back to Portsmouth, and I'm actually changing trains here at Gatwick Airport. So just going to get a cup of coffee before I continue on my journey. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you on the next one.